You are welcome to Transportation Techniques and Management class. God's grace, we are able to start with introduction, relevant, transition characteristics, benefits, transition modes, principle of spatial interaction, traffic management techniques. We also did passenger car units. We also did transportation in logistics, operation last week, where we talked about three different methods of transportation, minimization costs in logistics operation. So today we want to go to the next topic, which is road classifications. So on road classifications, why do we classify road? We are classifying them because of their different criteria, because of their distinctions. Because of their distinctions, there are distinctions ascribed to roads because of their functions, because of what they do, because of where they are, because of who owns them. Those are the basis for classifying road. Then when we classify road, it helps us to have proper planning, it helps us to manage the road infrastructure better, it helps us to prioritize them, and it helps us to know their purposes and their characteristics. That's the essence of road classification. So it is a system of road classification on its own, is a system of categorizing roads based on their distinct criteria. I hope that is clear. Now, roads could be classified in several ways, into several parts, into several things, into several dimensions. Just as we have on the screen, roads can be classified in several ways, And those several ways include physical characteristics, traffic volume, function, construction materials, location, ownership slash trunking, and type of traffic that they handle. Yes, but there are some schools of thought that will just stop at three, and these classifications, they are interwoven. They are interwoven. So the first one that we'll be discussing this evening is the one that has the physical characteristics. That is the one that is considering the physical characteristics before you classify them. Now, there is something you need to note so that you will not be confused about it. You will be convinced about it. There are some of these classifications that are interwoven, that have that has resemblance, that you will say, but this thing is here. Why is this still here? Our emphasis on each of them is what you should see as your business or your businesses. Our emphasis on the first classification of road is the physical characteristics. Our emphasis on the second one is the traffic volume. That is what you should focus on. Our emphasis on the third one is the functional classification should be your business. Our emphasis on construction, so that you will not say, why is he here? Why is he here? No, focus on what is your businesses or what are your businesses. Focus on your businesses. Your businesses, when you are discussing construction material classification, emphasize the construction materials. If you are talking about location, focus on location. Let's go to physical characteristics. So on physical characteristics, you have rigid, you have flexible, and from the screen, you can see a typical example of rigid and flexible. For those of you asking me for materials, you can just screenshot it. It is not an offense. Is that okay? So that is for the rigid and this is for the flexible. And the picture clearly states what makes it rigid and what makes it flexible. You will see that there are some components that are in both. If you look at if you look at the graphics before you, what is the first component that is applicable to rigid road and flexible road?
So base,
Sub-base, thank you. What is the second one that is common to them?
formation level,
Formation level. What is the third one?
natural formation.
Yes, and you have the source of the graphics ascribed to it. So
Yes.
one is rigid pavement, rigid, one is flexible. That is on physical characteristics. Is on physical characteristics. So, and the unique thing about them is in the graphics. The graphics speaks for it. So if you are asked to discuss road classification, you should be able to go to the extent of doing a sketch. This is not calculation. If you don't know calculation, you should know sketching. If you don't know sketching, you should know theory. If you don't know the three of them, you shouldn't. Let's continue. Traffic volume is the second classification. Traffic volume. There are some roads that are high traffic roads. There are some that are medium traffic roads, while some are light traffic roads. Do we have any clarification on this? It is about the volume they carry. And those high traffic roads, they are roads with multiple lanes. The ones with medium traffic roads, they are the ones with moderate. While the ones with light traffic roads, they are the ones with very low and low traffic volumes. There are some people who are living on streets with medium traffic roads. This is not good enough because you will have air pollution. You are possibly going to have air pollution in such streets. You should be able to live at least where you have the light traffic roads. This is another graphics that is supporting the based on traffic. You will see the average volume per day. Can you see it to support it? So that should also be taken. Then let's go to function. Functional. For example, in traffic survey, there is what we call the road life survey. In the road life survey, in some countries, they pay attention to where they have more traffic than where they don't have much traffic. For example, it is also a source of revenue generation for the government. So because they generate more revenue in those areas where you have heavy traffic, they pay more attention to them. And that is in line with the road life survey. It is in line with not road life survey, sorry, it is the motor vehicle use survey. It is the motor vehicle use survey. It is one of the traffic surveys. It is motor vehicle use survey. It is one of the traffic surveys. And in some countries, they make use of it to determine attention. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Okay, function first. For functional classification, it is about the function they perform. And just like what I told you at the beginning of road classification, face the business. Face the business. Arterial function has to do with high capacity. High capacity. They are express roads. They prioritize traffic movement over access in arterial road. So you can see that the function is the business here. The function is to prioritize traffic movement over access to adjacent properties. It is about traffic movement, nothing like I want to get access to where I live. It is the function of arterial to face traffic movements. The function of collector distributor road is to collect traffic from the local road and distribute to the arterial. So it is in between the arterial and the local road, which is the next one. Place them properly. So now we also have construction materials. Construction materials. So you have gravel, you have earthen, that's compacted soil where these earthen road, you see them in rural areas. They will just try to grade them, compact the soil very strong, and you will see that at different points they grade the surface and they use a compacting machine along that same road. Then the Murom road, that one is where you have some roads. It is still close to some rural areas where you have broken rocks along that on the surface of the soil. Yeah. Then we also have this canker road. So they are also as surface material, but they are an impure form of limestone, but Most times we have it outside Nigeria. Then we also have this as materials, bituminous. In fact, the most popular under the construction materials, they are the bituminous and the concrete road. Like what you have when you come out of Beggar between, I think even Oshodi Apapa is more of a concrete road when you use it as the pavement material. When you use asphalt or bitumen as the binder, it is bituminous road. When you use concrete as the pavement material, it is concrete road. So Oshodi Apapa should be concrete, and bituminous, I think we still have bituminous. I think Ikorodu road is bituminous, not the BRT lane. No. Not the BRT lane. I think they did concrete roads on most of the surface because of the load that it is carrying. So let's go to, this is another type, okay, based on construction materials. You can see what's based on construction material, what kind of road is this?
Concrete.
Which one is this?
Bitumen.
Bituminous, thank you. Then this is the one that I said you have in the local area. The earthing, thank you. Thank you. This is the earthing. So that is the picture of that road. Then location. Location is what? Another classification of road. You have rural classification, rural under location, you also have urban. In fact, this graphics is helping us to have the three. There is an extra, which is suburban. Suburban is like the boundary of the urban. So you can see the picture to help us get further understanding of it. Now let's go to ownership. Ownership and trunking. Ownership is supposed to be separated from trunking, but they are very, very close. There is just a thin line. You know, we have trunk A road, we have trunk B road, and we have trunk C road. Okay, so for ownership, we have federal government owned, we have state government owned, and we have local government owned. And that is one of the reasons why a local government could decide to name a bus stop. They also have their own, they have their portions. So then for the trunking, we have trunk A, trunk B, and trunk C. Is that okay? So on type of traffic, pedestrian, cycle, and motor vehicle. You know, traffic is that vehicle on the road, that vehicle, that object, that container. So we just try to group them here. The pedestrian is human in form of a container. The cycle, we have its own traffic. Then we have motor vehicle, motor, like we have pedestrian volume, we have cycle volume, and we have motor vehicle volume. So let's look at them in that direction. That we also have the number, the human traffic, the cycle traffic, the vehicle traffic. Just that is the direction that this also goes. Is that okay? If a traffic person, a traffic official, one of the tests that they do for an offender is to ask the offender which trunk road was that offense committed. And when you hear trunk A road, what you are saying is that you are talking about federal government owned road. It is under the trunking system of road classification. When you hear trunk B, you are talking about state government owned roads. When you hear trunk C, you are talking about the local government owned roads. That's why in some local governments, you have roads being rehabilitated by the local government authorities. The roads inside the estate, whether we can classify them, you can classify them under we said functional then, that we can use the local under functional to classify those roads. And we can also use traffic volume when somebody mentioned light traffic volume for the classification of those estate roads. Is that clear? Thank you so much for your cooperation.